Black Hills of South Dakota are rich in the beauty of pine forests, shimmering lakes, and towering rock formations. Amongst the rocks in the mountain streams and beneath the forest floor lies one of nature's treasures, gold. The gold rush of 1849 brought gamblers, cowboys, and settlers to this new frontier, each with the hope of striking it rich. The beauty and richness of the Black Hills are still present today in each piece of Landstrom's original Black Hills gold creations, the most respected name in Black Hills gold jewelry. Landstrom's roots go back over a century to the first manufacturer of Black Hills gold jewelry. The Black Hills gold jewelry grape and leaf design celebrates the life force of the vine in 3 colors of gold. This design was brought to the Black Hills by Henri Lebeau in 1876. Landstrom's Black Hills gold jewelry has a beautiful and colorful look, as well as a unique and colorful history. In the early 1900s, George Butler and R.S. Quimby operated a small Black Hills gold manufacturing shop and retail jewelry store in Lead, South Dakota. Frank Thorpe and his partner Ed Lampinen also ran a small shop in Lead under the name of F.L. Thorpe and Company. When the partnership of Thorpe and Lampinen dissolved, Ed Lampinen bought the original tools and equipment from the George Butler shop and established his own store in Deadwood in 1919. He called it Black Hills Jewelry Manufacturing Company. Ivan Landstrom bought the company and moved it to Rapid City in 1944. In 1995, Landstrom's original Black Hills Gold Creations bought F.L. Thorpe, which makes Landstrom's the only true heir to the original designs, tools, and manufacturing methods of Black Hills gold jewelry. Landstrom's and quality go hand in hand. No other Black Hills gold jewelry is meticulously handcrafted or maintains the high-quality standards set by Landstrom's original Black Hills gold creations and their predecessors. The strong, durable, yet elegant jewelry produced by Landstrom's has been the finest quality possible since its beginning. Landstrom's original Black Hills gold creations are intricate works of art designed to be personal treasures to those who possess them. As your Black Hills gold jewelry ages, it will acquire a unique patina over time and become a cherished heirloom for generations. Landstrom's standards of integrity and quality remain intact. Even though modern technology allows jewelry production on a much larger scale than in its earlier days, Landstrom's is still committed to creating each piece of jewelry by the most exacting of all machines, the human hand. No 2 pieces of Landstrom's Black Hills gold are alike. Each piece is a unique reflection of great pride and meticulous attention to each detail by highly skilled and talented artisans. Handcrafting begins with 24-karat grain and a vision. There is a myth that pink and green gold are mined only in the Black Hills, but the distinctive colors of Black Hills gold jewelry are actually accomplished through an alloy process, which mixes other metals with pure 24-karat gold. The delicate green color is achieved through the addition of sterling silver, and copper is blended with the gold to produce the subtle pink color in the jewelry. Many important processes go into creating each piece of Landstrom's Black Hills gold jewelry. Using Landstrom's century-old formula, precise measurements of precious metals are placed in small vessels known as crucibles. Crucibles are placed in a furnace where their contents are melted at over 2,000 degrees. Once the metal is melted, it is poured into ice-cold water, which separates the metal into small beads of gold. This gold is assayed to verify 10, 12, or 14 karat value. These small beads of gold are poured into a bar caster, which makes a flat bar of gold. The gold bar is rolled into sheet form. The rolling mill compresses the sheet into the various thicknesses required for each design. The sheet you see here has been rolled to produce stamped ring shanks. After they have been cut out with a kick press, the ends are soldered together to form a perfect circle. Stamping is one of 2 processes used to make rings. The other process is known as casting. In Landstrom's new product development department, each new design begins with a 2-dimensional drawing and becomes a 3-dimensional design intricately carved in wax. A stem called a sprue is attached to the wax design. From this design, a metal model is produced. Next, a master mold is made by sandwiching the metal model between several layers of vulcanizing rubber in a metal frame. This frame is placed in a vulcanizing machine. The rubber inside melts and engulfs the model as it cools. The rubber form is cut open, and the model is removed, leaving a perfect mold with an airway formed by the sprue. Then, hot wax is injected into the rubber mold. After it is cooled, the rubber mold is opened, exposing a hardened wax form of the model. After careful inspection, the sprue of the wax model is attached to a wax spindle, creating a wax tree. Many wax models are carefully placed on the spindle to make sure that none are touching. The wax tree is attached to a rubber base and placed in a stainless steel flask. Flasks containing wax trees are placed in a vacuum chamber and filled with a casting investment, similar to plaster of Paris. The vacuuming removes all air bubbles from the investment. Once hardened, the tree is encased in plaster and the rubber base is peeled off. Then it's to the oven, where the flasks are heated to over 1,000 degrees for several hours. This high temperature melts the wax inside, leaving only a plaster cavity. This is known as the lost wax casting method. This is a casting machine. It contains molten gold. When the gold is poured into the flask, it fills the space left by the wax patterns. After a short period of time, the flask is placed under cold water, which results in extreme temperature shock and immediate disintegration of the investment. A button is a gold base the pieces are left standing on. A large cutter is used to cut the pieces from the gold tree. The sprues and buttons are cleaned and recycled. The pieces are now sent to the grinding department, where the surfaces of the rings are smooth. Meanwhile, back in the press room, leaf and grape components are being stamped out in various colors. They will accent the tops of rings and other jewelry pieces. The finished parts are then taken to the vault, where they are weighed and sorted into work orders. The work orders seen here will contain ring shanks and all of the parts required to complete the rings. Grapes and leaves are carefully tacked to the ring shank to hold them in place before they are soldered. In the soldering department, leaves and grapes are permanently attached. Every piece of jewelry has a specific number of points that must be soldered. In an age of robotic manufacturing, Landstrom still uses hand soldering to ensure the highest standards of quality. In order to be ready for electroplating, the pieces are hung on a rack. The rack is lowered into a solution where 24-karat gold liquid is electrically bonded to the gold jewelry. When the final plating process is finished, the rack is taken out and immediately immersed in a rinse tank. Wriggling is a distinctive process that removes the electroplating and creates the frosty finish on top of each leaf. Once the wriggling process is done, the rings move on to the engraving department, where Landstrom's skilled craftsmen still hand engrave veins into each leaf. These prismatic cuts enhance the leaves with distinctive brilliant accents. In the polishing department, several different steps are used to bring out the full rich luster of each ring. Jewelry pieces requiring stones are now moved to the stone setting department, where genuine or synthetic stones are set. At the final inspection station, the jewelry is checked and tagged. Then it is packaged in the distinctive Landstrom's box. Landstrom's creates traditional and contemporary designs in sterling silver, 10 and 12 karat gold, and 14 karat gold. Pendants, earrings, bracelets, or belt buckles. There is something for everyone at Landstrom's. It's not surprising that Landstrom's dresses champions. They have provided the crown for Miss Rodeo America since 1965. Landstrom's and quality are synonymous. It shows in any number of ways, from the thickness and heft of Landstrom's ring shanks and leaves to the crisp detail of their hand engraving. For generations, Landstrom's has been admired and sought after by shrewd dealers, high rollers, and lucky ladies. From the streets of Deadwood to the canyons of Wall Street, each piece of Landstrom's Black Hills gold jewelry is a piece of American history. When it comes to Black Hills gold, there can only be one original, one name you can always count on: Landstrom's.